is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are here with something a little bit different. Of course, it's Lions, but this is a big board for the Detroit Lions, but it's not your typical big board with all the positions. No, this one is specific to the receiver position. Now, we are going to do more big boards, and I said this would be out yesterday, so I apologize that it wasn't. I was up at 2 in the morning trying to get it done, but it was just so difficult. So if you guys disagree with any of these rankings, I get it, because I've changed them over and over and over, and it will be subject to change. Check out DoseOfDion.com if you guys want to know into more detail any of these players on this list, because they should all be on DoseOfDion.com under prospects. But that's what we're doing in today's video. Now, I want to do this for other positions as well, but I'm going to do much less players. There are 40 players in this, including some honorable mentions. So we're going to fly through it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. We're going to fly over to this side. You know, we're going to use the other camera, do the computer work, and we're going to do it like that. But yeah, it's taken a while. We'll probably do the other spots, or maybe we'll just do a full big one. But 40 is just too much. There's too much, and there's a lot of receiver talent. If I was low on the receiver that you love, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How y'all doing? Let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
All right, so now let's get into this list. Now, we have a few honorable mentions I want to touch on first. Also, a few guys I did leave off of this list. Oh, gosh, no, you didn't see anything. No, you didn't see nothing. I didn't spoil nothing right there, okay? Don't. I did not. Like Tim Jones. I didn't have enough film on Tim Jones. I would have liked to, see more. I just didn't have enough I could find on Jones to watch him. Watt Fillier, I didn't feel like I watched enough of him. Michael, I didn't have enough film on him. Felton, I had more of a running back. I didn't watch enough of some of these guys. Like I said, I had to kind of cut myself off to make sure I got this video out. Tyler Vaughns, I wish I would have watched more of Vaughns. I saw a little bit. I just didn't feel like I watched enough to feel comfortable putting him on here above other players. But some people do like him, so he's a guy to check out. I really love Tariq Black. Dylan Stoner, I just didn't have him in my top 40. So that's why some of these guys are left off. Now, here on the left side, here are some honorable mentions. I did have in the list at one point or another. Marlon Williams, Vasher, and Walker. Marlon Williams, to me, is built like a running back. You know, he doesn't catch a lot of passes outside of his body, but his production is undeniable. It really is. Definitely a strong build there, thick build there. TJ Vasher, great size, 6'6". He's lengthy, man. People love sending me his highlight tapes. He got a great highlight tape. He does. To me, this would have been maybe more intriguing with the pass regime, with Galladay, with Marvin, a go up and get it type of guy. I mean, that's what he does. But I think he could put on more weight. He doesn't seem to have really anywhere near the type of production that you would think with a guy that's that long. He's exciting as the lankiness and the height is that you can't teach. But I do think with Vasher, if he was someone that hit like a UDFA, you could consider signing him. You don't have a 7th round pick. Maybe if you had like a super late 7th, you could take a guy like TJ Vasher and just say, hey, we could maybe get some mismatch issues here if we could really develop his game and try to, fill it out. Trey Walker out of San Jose State. I like watching Trey Walker, but he's a little bit undersized. Very competitive player, that's for sure. And he's also pretty shifty when the ball is in his hands. He really is. Runs hard. His inconsistencies as a pass catcher at the catch point as well. Again, just another guy. And then, of course, the competition. I didn't feel like I could have him in the top 40. I did have him before, but I took him out. But I do like, those guys. I do like him. But there's a lot of good receivers in this class. It is deep. No one's lying there. It's deep. All right. Actually, before we do that, let me scroll up this way. That way it looks okay. So the first 2 players we have on this list are Josh Imanabebe and Warren Jackson. Josh out of Illinois. If you guys know Josh, remember we've talked about him before. He's got good size. He's pretty good speed. He had the 47-inch vertical. I feel like with Josh, there's just a lot of things that need to be polished up, touched up in his game. Really intermediate, short routes. I mean, all of that needs to be added. He'll flash the vertical threat with Illinois. And I think for him, he'd be the type of player that you say, okay, he has these tools that we can't teach. The ability to sky, good speed, pretty good size for the outside. If we can give him like a year with a good receiver coach and not expect a lot early, then he could be, a very solid receiver and very solid outside contributor down the road. But I think it's going to take time. Warren Jackson, he's 6'6", like Vasher, but Jackson to me was way more productive with his size. Again, not great competition here, but Warren Jackson is a player the Lions could consider just for the straight up mismatches here. But he was kind of, I don't even know if I would say he's more of a get up and get it guy, because there was a lot of screen production there for Warren Jackson, and he can block. But, again, he's just not that quick. He's not that fast. And when I'm talking about with the Lions, I think we'll be looking at, I think they like the separation guys. I think that's the kind of guys they're looking at. And it's fine to have jump ball guys if they're really good at it. But I feel like there are guys that are better. But he's still in the top 40. I mean, that's really good considering how deep this class is. I don't know if I had to do that. All right, the next 2 players we have is DeMonte Coxie and Brennan Eagles. DeMonte Coxie out of Memphis. Good size here, 6'3". Seems like the type of player that could be a very solid depth piece on your roster. He makes some really good catches in contested situations. I feel like that's where he's actually at his best for DeMonte. Very competitive. I mean, he got into some scraps. This is that dynamic athlete side of the games. And I still didn't feel like he made all the catches that were possible. Sometimes I felt like his body control wasn't the best there. But you do like him at the point of attack. He's got good size, which could lead him to playing both inside and outside. I don't know, and here's the thing with Memphis, like he was on pace to do some incredible things statistically in terms of receptions and yards, things like that. So Coxie is a very interesting piece that you should definitely consider if you have very late picks in this draft. Brennan Eagles next. We did the video on Brennan Eagles out of Texas. Good size here, 6'4". He's a long strider, can kind of take the top off, had some production there. I think he's got really good field awareness, knowing where the out of bounds is, knowing how to, try to make himself a threat for the quarterback. But he still could add much more on the intermediate and short parts of his game, and he's still not an explosive athlete, so there is that part that's lacking. But I felt like he was just lacking some opportunities at Texas. On to the next, I guess, next one. We have Jahamin Osborne out of Texas A&M. Okay, now this receiver actually surprised me a little bit. I know I've watched him in the past. The one thing I always take away is he's very physical. He's very strong, very well built, which means that guys really struggle to slow him down, especially off the line. Doesn't have the great quickness and burst there. He's not that fast actually at all. But Jahamin, he has had really productive games. Some games he's very quiet. Other games he's extremely productive. He actually was a really nice underneath kind of threat. I mean, he wasn't making a lot of plays after he caught the ball, but he was pretty reliable playing through the physicality and nature of it. So underneath, if you got physical corners, I feel like he could play through some of that. And then down the field every once in a while, make some nice contested grabs, playing through the arms of defenders. Again, there's not a lot of explosiveness within his game. Not really at all. And I don't think his 40 time came out good at all. But Jahamin definitely can be a nice piece underneath that could be a very, almost like a safety blanket for quarterbacks in a way, but you don't expect a lot more after the catch. Next two, we have Anthony Schwartz and Antonio Nunn. Anthony Schwartz, first out of Auburn, is fast. He's just a speedster. That's what it is. And honestly, that's pretty much the reason he's here. He can fly. He absolutely can fly. And, okay, hold up one second. I think this is about to fall. Is this going to fall? I want that to fall on me. All right, so we have Anthony Schwartz. Anthony Schwartz, man, he can fly. Sometimes he looked lost on the field. It just didn't look that great, pass catching. Some of it just didn't look good. It just really didn't. But he is a vertical threat that could take the top off. He is a track star. They use him on jet sweeps, things like that. I don't think he's great as a ball carrier. I think he had some, was it him that had some security questions? But regardless, Anthony Schwartz's speed is something he can't teach. So, the Lions, if they want speed, Schwartz has it. He does. But we have some guys with speed already. Next up at 34, we have Antonio Nunn out of Buffalo. Nunn is very overlooked by a lot of people. He doesn't have, again, that one trait that's whoa, Anthony Schwartz has the speed. Warren Jackson is 6'6". He doesn't really have that part of his game, but he was still a pretty big factor in every game that they needed him. I mean, he never really broke out because Buffalo's offense was very run heavy. That's what they relied on. They had Jared Patterson. We know that. But when you watch Antonio Nunn, he can do a lot of things. He's pretty crisp as a route runner, can be impactful everywhere on the field. And against Penn State, he looked pretty solid. I like his ability to go up and catch the ball with his hands. Sometimes it looks like he kind of double catches it. But regardless, Antonio Nunn just kind of lacks some opportunities as well. And, you always got to look out for these small school guys that you don't hear about. So Antonio's one of those guys. Not bad size either. Let me get a check here. 5'11", 190. Not bad size either. All right, next up at number 33. Oh, okay, nope. Oh, I hit on the ad. Okay, stop. Kill the goblin. Okay, stop. Okay, 33, we have Frank Darby, the receiver out of Arizona State. Okay. Frank Darby, first off, I love the off-the-field stuff that I hear about Frank Darby. It sounds great. I mean, people love how he is as a character, his leadership. I guess he was injured and he was just a leader for them. I love that. Some teams have talked to him. I don't think the Lions are one of those teams. But Frank Darby, if you watch him back in 2019, you'll see just how much of a deep threat he was. I mean, for years, it was 20-plus yards a catch. And if you look at the numbers alone, you would think he'd be much higher. I love that side. He has mastered the ability to just take the top off without having blazing speed, which is obviously extremely impressive. The thing is, for Darby at his size, which is not a bad size, it's 6', 194. I think he's going to play a lot more in the slot at the next level. So it's just a lot of questions about, how productive can he be in the slot, in those underneath routes, things like that at the next level. Last season didn't look very good for Frank Darby either. And if you watch him at the Senior Bowl, he looked rough. I mean, he looked rough coming out of breaks, things like that. So I think there's a lot of cleaning up needs to be here, but he is a guy that can take the top off. And when you see how productive he is without being extremely fast, there's skill to that. There's a lot of skill to that. So shout out to Frank Darby. And let's keep moving up this list, man. Let's keep doing it. Number 32, number 32 and 31. 32, we have Trayvon Grimes. I wasn't a huge Grimes fan because I didn't love him playing through contact, making some of those contested grabs. But I think when you step back and you think about what the Lions could be looking for as a receiver, I think Trayvon Grimes checks a lot of boxes. Great size, 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", good size to play the outside, can absolutely be a vertical threat. He played against really good competition there with Florida, and he flashed some really nice plays down the field. It was just that he had, to me, issues playing through contested situations, sometimes over the middle. I saw him complain a little bit too. But either way, Trayvon Grimes, I think, checks a lot of boxes that the Lions are looking for. He's more productive than a Josh Imatorbhebhe to me. He can be earlier in his career as well. But I think the size combined with good speed, ability to take the top off, and having, some really nice catches on his tape puts Grimes at number 32. Number 31 is Sage Surratt. I would love to have this guy way higher. But when I think about what the Lions are targeting, I don't think Surratt will be extremely high on their list. Now, if the Lions want a go up and get it, contested situation, could be tough in the red zone, Sage Surratt definitely could be that guy, especially if he falls. The only issue is I think there's other teams out there who will probably be looking at him earlier because for what he does extremely well. You want to contest a guy that's going to box out defenders, can play through arms. Sage Surratt, there's not many guys that can match up with him, and that offense fell apart without him. So I still have him relatively high, but the issue with Sage Surratt is just he's slow. He's very slow. Sometimes he gets separation with solid route running, but he is very, very slow. Quickness is not there. Coming out of breaks is not there. Just not really a guy that's scaring defensive backs whatsoever. Just want to stop in real quick to let you guys know that if you guys are ever interested in investing in our favorite sports teams like us as Detroit Lions fans, you guys should check out www.symbol.app. It's a way to basically invest in your favorite sports team and earn a payout when your team wins. So for us as Detroit Lions fans, now we can finally invest in something that we actually know. And with the draft coming up very soon, this is your opportunity to get involved. You guys can use promo code DOD for a $10 bonus deposit. Check it out. Number 30, now we have Daz Newsome out of North Carolina and Dez Fitzpatrick out of Louisville. So Daz Newsome first. I don't love Daz as a pass catcher right now. When I watch him play, I think he catches way too much with his body, and he doesn't make himself a big threat for quarterbacks, which is kind of an issue because he's already not that big anyways. His athleticism isn't great. It's okay. It's not great, though. So, those are kind of two knocks, but he catches a lot of things with his body. However, once he gets the football, he's one of the most dynamic players in this class. So if you want a late round pick, day 3 potential pick, that once he gets the ball in his hands can be a problem with it, maybe a little more even a gadget guy, Daz Newsome was someone to look at for sure. And then 29, Dez Fitzpatrick. I think Fitzpatrick is going to be extremely overlooked. I think Fitzpatrick, though, has a lot of tools. He just hasn't put it all together to be a breakout season. He's been overshadowed by Tutu Atwell. Lamar Jackson left, and early in his career it looked like he was going to break out, but he never did. But Dez Fitzpatrick has a lot of the tools. Good size to play on the outside, can also play some inside. I've seen him try to block. I love his ball tracking down the field. I think he's got a lot of things. He's shown production at all different spots of the field. He's not a, he's not a great athlete, but I think Dez Fitzpatrick could come in and be a day 1 impact player late in the draft. I do like Dez a lot, and I think there's a lot of tools here that you just got to find a way to put it all together for him. At number 28 here, we have Marquez Stevenson out of Houston. Marquez, the biggest, honestly, concerns I have is the injuries with Marquez Stevenson. He's had a lot of injuries over the course of his career. Marquez Stevenson is fast. He can fly, right? We know that. He's made some really nice grabs, great ball tracking from time to time, and other times it doesn't look as good. Sometimes he looks way better than others. For me, the thing is with Marquez Stevenson is, that's kind of what it was for him at Houston. Some games he would go out there and he looked really dominant, and other games he kind of forgot he was on the field. But I think when you pair the fact that he has that kind of speed and ability to take the top off, I think Marquez Stevenson is someone the Lions could easily consider. It's just about the injury factor that could scare them. We'll see, though, because he isn't the biggest build, so people are worried about that side. But there's no question that he could be a deep threat. You'll see some really great catches, some flashes on tape, and a lot of, toe taps, which is beautiful as well. So, you see the flashes. You just don't always see the consistency there. Getting open as a route runner, always getting opportunities. Not all of that's his fault, but I have him at number 28. Honestly, it's a really good spot when you consider how many good receivers I think there are. Because at 27, we have Shi Smith out of South Carolina. This is a really weird, kind of polarizing prospect to me. He's got good acceleration. He's got good burst. He's one of those guys that can change speeds, and he can make some really good plays. And he could definitely be a guy that can get separation, especially from the slot position for your team, whoever that is. And he plays with a toughness to his game that you love as well. But then he has just some moments and flashes of just, it looks bad. I mean, he has a lot of bad drops, on his tape. He obviously doesn't have the biggest size there either. Just some of the drops really scare the heck out of me when I watch it play. Through contact, finishing catches through contact is going to be an issue, and I expect him to play more slot. So for me, Shi Smith, as much as I think he can get separation at the next level, you're going to have to be able to be more consistent there. Maybe he's got to get a little bit stronger, but Shi Smith comes in at number 27. 26, we have Amir Smith-Marset out of Iowa. Now, Amir, very similar to Marquez Stevenson and kind of how I look at it. Now, Amir's had some off-the-field things that have come up in the past, but I don't think it's anything that will, like, make the Lions take him off their board. However, with Amir Smith-Marset, he is definitely a burner. This is the type of dude who's going to take the top off if you need him to, and so many missed opportunities for that Iowa offense. And there's just so many missed opportunities when he was able to get deep. He can live on the out routes. He can shake you when he's got the ball in his hands. He's pretty tough to tackle at that point. But again, the reason he's not much higher is because not even just the production, just because there's those lapses of just easy drops. His body control doesn't look great. He's at number 26. But now we're into the top 25, and this has Jonathan Adams. I think there's a kind of another level once we start to get to 25. Jonathan Adams Jr. is impressive. Like, look, I'm not valuing the heck out of these go up and get it kind of guys, but I think Jonathan Adams is a beast. I really do. I've been watching him a lot, and Jonathan, like, he'll make some highlight catches, but he makes them consistently. He'll have way more consistently some highlight catches. Still has too many concentration drops for my liking, and he doesn't get incredible separation, but he does have some pretty nice bursts considering his size. He's got a little wiggle, like I could trust, taking shots to. The thing is, he plays with a lot of physicality in his game at the next level. He's not the biggest guy, so it's something that's going to be questioned how well he's going to translate. 6'3", 210, but man, his ball skills are impressive. So he's at number 25. And then at number 24, can we go up? Oh, here are the next three that we have. First off, Simi Fehoko. I think that's how you say his name. I can't exactly remember. This is the receiver out of Stanford. Simi has two things that coaches love: speed and size. And he has a lot of inconsistencies. One snap, he'll make an incredible catch. The next snap, he doesn't catch the football, and he'll just bounce off his chest. He'll miss it with his hands. One game he goes out and dominates. I think that was his last game of the year. Other games he's pretty quiet. The thing is though for Fehoko is he's very big. I think he's 6'4", and he can absolutely burn. He just can absolutely fly. And I think those two things as a combination are going to make a lot of teams put him pretty high on their board, because he may not be a guy that you're going to love for next season. But I think the Lions have receivers. They're trying to find core pieces. Upside is insane. Fehoko is more than just being big and fast, more consistent production, but also, he makes some great catches through traffic, some absolute incredible plays as a pass catcher. He just doesn't show it every single down. It's very raw. In terms of route running, he needs to be much more crisp there. Just the NFL level, probably translating a lot of the things, it's going to take some time. So he may not be great year one, but year two, with his tools and his potential as a pass catcher, because a lot of his drops are just easy. It just bounce off his... They just bounce off his chest, but he has some really remarkable tough catches. Bananas against UCLA, 16 receptions, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was setting records. My thing is that if this dude is available, round 5, which is where he's projected to go, and the Lions need a receiver at that spot, and he's on the board, you don't hesitate. I don't know who else is there, but you don't hesitate, because I think the upside is just remarkable. So it's hard to overlook what he could be for your team. Dax Milne is a beast to me. I love me some Dax Milne. The issue is after the catch. And when you talk about a guy like Jared Goff and, how many yards came after the catch last season, if the Lions are looking for yak guys, Dax Milne probably doesn't, check that box as well. And he doesn't have a huge catch radius because he's not that big as well. He is 6 foot, but, he's not a huge catch radius. He didn't play against best competition. But he was such a big factor of that BYU offense. Sometimes he makes me feel like I'm watching Golden Tate. Not after the catch, but before the catch. Okay, his ability to catch in contested situations, his concentration is outstanding. He makes himself a threat for the quarterback when plays break down, and he has a great awareness of where the sideline is. Dax Milne can play football. The question is, our team's going to take a shot on him. And if you want a guy that can play slot, I think Dax can do that. He also could probably mix in certain matchups on the outside. Seth Williams at 22. The reason he's not higher is because separation issues will be a question, but I do like him in a few things. First off, getting off the press. He's good size, he's strong, he gets off the press, no problem. The second thing is I love him attacking the zone. He can fill holes of the zone, makes himself an option, and he can go in sky. And then the red zone. You can throw jump balls to him and he can go up and get it. He plays really well with his body control in the air when the ball is up for grabs, and that's kind of where he's really good. He's a competitor. He just doesn't have incredible separation right now in his game. The route running, of course, could be cleaned up and you can make him better there, but I do like him attacking zones. Some people have him much higher than this, but I didn't feel like I could get him much higher because of the separation lacking. But he does have some really nice grabs, Number 21, I went with Tamorrion Terry. This is a big reach, but I just thought we'd have some fun with this one. Tamorrion Terry at 21, kind of like my man Simi because of the size and speed combination. The issue, though, with Tamorrion is the up and downs, the waves he's had of his career. You know, last season was a very rough season for Terry. Some people thought he'd break out after a tremendous 2019. Tamarian to me, kind of from play to play, can give you a little bit of a mixed bag of results. But there were definitely games, especially in 2019, where this dude looked dominant, very dominant. As a deep threat, his route running, I mean, he could shake people, good size, good speed. He could attack from middle, he could go up and take it out of the air. You know, I just felt like, you know, maybe he could have been a little bit more as a blocker, maybe. And I just feel like he's kind of up and down a little bit right now. And that's why he's not higher than 21. But a lot of people look at him as a sleeper. I don't think he'll end up being a sleeper in this year's draft. I think he'll be at least a fourth round pick, probably. And I think because of what the Lions looking for, size and speed, could be a next outside guy. And maybe could play some slot. Tamarian Terry, I think, is going to be higher on their board. Number 20 and 19, we have Tutu Atwell and Austin Watkins. Tutu Atwell first. The dude can fly. Just like the Cardinal, he absolutely moves. He just floats, man. He is so quick, and he's just so explosive. I mean, he just had so many deep catches last season because people just can't keep up with him. He didn't even have to do stuff certain times. He could just run right past you. To me, though, the issue is, of course, his size. He's like 5'9", 165, very slim. So your question is going to be, okay, how is he going to hold up at the next level? How is he going to be in contested situations? There's going to be question marks. There really is. Maybe more of a gadget guy. But if you want matchup problems, I feel like Atwell can give you those because if you get him the football, he's so dynamic with the football. I mean, that's just what it is. So that's why he comes in at 20. And at 19, I have a little bit of surprise here. I'm going with Austin Watkins. I know he may be pretty high. Maybe you haven't heard of this dude, but you should check him out. Really liked him in the Senior Bowl. Good size. I think he could be a big slot for the Lions, and I think that's why they could like this one. He's got really nice size, which could slide him in slot. And you look at the Rams they've had in the past, they've always had big receivers. He can move a little bit. Honestly, he comes out of his routes pretty well. And he's got nice hands, very nice hands. No, he didn't play the best competition, but to me, he's going to step in and he's going to be an impactful player. He really is. His versatility's there. I like me some Austin Watkins. All right, next up at 18 and 17, we have Jalen Darden and Cornell Powell. Starting at 18, Jalen Darden. When he has the ball in his hands, there's not many better in the country at making you miss. One of the most explosive and dynamic rush, yak guys in the country. That's all you got to do is get in his hands. The question is his competition he's played against and being more of a pass-catching threat. I mean, he is a good pass catcher. There's no question he's a good pass catcher. But when he's considered competition, not having great size, right, 5'9", 170, a little bit more than Tutu Atwell. I like him more than Atwell, as a pass catcher. I like him a little bit more than Atwell, but I also love him once the ball is in his hands. Like I said, there's not many guys in college football that are that dynamic with it. And then Cornell Powell. Yeah, I know, look, Cornell Powell, some people don't love him because he's not super athletic, but at the next level, it's about getting separation. And for him, he gets it because he has the little nuances to his game. He's going to be old coming out. I don't know how high the upside is here, but I can tell you he can be impactful right away. He definitely can. To me, Cornell Powell, he's just kind of mastered some of the little things. Late separation, being able to make, adjust his body when the ball is near, make contested grabs, be a threat all over the field. He doesn't blow you away with speed, but, speed isn't everything at the next level. If it was just about speed, everybody would just have track stars. That's not how football works, though. You got to find ways to be successful and to be able to get yourself open with separation, and Powell can do that without the exciting speed. Not to say he's slow, but he became the guy at Clemson last season. He was really nice for Lawrence, but the concern is it took him a long time to break out. At 16, then we have another Clemson Tiger, and this one's Amari Rodgers. I went with Amari over Cornell. I'm not sure how I wanted to go with this one, but to me, Amari Rodgers, I came in expecting, a strong guy because he's extremely strong, tons of bench press reps, and he was. Like Jalen Darden, he's very tough once the ball's in his hands, and they did it a lot. Just give him the ball and let him make plays with it. 5'9", 211, right? He's got good size there, better size than Darden and Tutu Atwell. But not only that, he is such a natural pass catcher. I didn't expect that. Very natural pass catcher. I liked him in one-on-ones. Very natural pass catcher, though. Adjusts his body extremely well. Not to say he's great as a pass catcher, like one of the best, but he looks very comfortable out there, and I didn't think he would. He really did. So combine that with his strength and the ability with the ball in his hands, Amari's a guy that I think could be successful for a long time in the NFL. Then you have number 15 and 14. 15, we have K. Johnson. K. Johnson, if you want a slot and you're looking past, some of the top guys, you're looking day 2, don't look past K. Johnson. K. Johnson is going to be a beast. There's no question. There was nobody better in one-on-ones in the Senior Bowl. Nobody. The concentration is outstanding. We saw him play against not great competition, so we're like, oh, the numbers don't mean that much. But in Senior Bowl, he was so good. just knows how to get open, and his ability to get himself open is outstanding. And that moves you to 14. Talk about getting yourself open. Josh Palmer is there as well. Now, Josh Palmer's stats don't do justice here for how talented this guy can be at the next level. Josh Palmer's ability to get open in so many different ways is going to make him very translatable to the NFL. The issue is, what's the upside here? I don't know, but I know that you could play big slot. You could put him on the outside. Most of his route tree was just vertical shots at Tennessee, but he could be so much more. He really could, because he can win with strength, speed, quickness, route running. He can win with a lot of things, and it showed up in his one-on-ones. He looked really solid there as well. Josh Palmer is a very well-rounded receiver. Maybe doesn't have the highest of upsides, but again, at the NFL, man, it's about, hey, can you get open? And I know Josh Palmer could do that. I think he could be more productive at the NFL level. Okay, so next up we have on our list at number 13 is Dwayne Eskridge out of Western Michigan. I was so tempted to put this guy at number 11 because I think Eskridge has boom potential at the NFL. He has that type of potential, and I had him at 11 for a while. That I actually had him at number 10 at one point. That I think you could have Eskridge, and he could just absolutely just blow up in the NFL. And people be like, man, why did we not draft this guy? But at the same time, I think for the Lions, he may not be one of their top targets. I do think he can get tons of separation. He showed us on Senior Bowl one-on-ones. The thing is his size at 5'9". He plays very physical, which you like. He doesn't always finish through, with the process of some of his catches, which is concerning. But if you find the right way to use him, Eskridge could blow up in the NFL. And if you want to say that, I think he could be a second-round pick next season. Would not shock me, not next season, if in this draft he was a second-round pick. At number 12 and 11, we have Nico Collins. At number 11, we have De'Ami Brown. Number 12 being Nico. I just love me some Nico Collins. I'm telling you, Nico's going to be really good at the NFL. If he falls with the right team, he's going to be extremely good at the NFL. I think he's going to be the best Michigan receiver we've seen in a while, because to me, Nico Collins, he can stack cornerbacks. His ability to play through contact, his concentration, jump ball ability, it's all outstanding. Just didn't get the opportunities that he should have gotten at Michigan. Really just did not. I've really been a big fan of Nico for years now. I think Nico's just outstanding, and the only thing is he's got actually a little more shiftiness for his size. But how quick is he going to be underneath in terms of separation? Regardless, though, I think Nico's going to be a beast. But that's why I have De'Ami Brown at number 11. See, to me, if it was me drafting, I could definitely see me saying I'm taking Nico or Dwayne Eskridge over De'Ami Brown. But since I'm building a Lions big board, I did go with De'Ami Brown because I think the Lions will be very intrigued by De'Ami Brown's skill set. A pretty good size in terms of height. I think he's 6'1", 6'2", receiver out of North Carolina that can play inside, outside, which they like. He's got good athleticism. He's a very productive deep ball threat. Can take the top off. He can win off the press release. So he's got all that. He can play inside, outside. The Lions are going to love it. The only thing I don't love is him, reaching out, making plays, really just through contact. Okay, I don't love it. I really don't. So to me, De'Ami Brown, probably, me personally, it would look like this, but I think the Lions are going to have it looking like this. Okay, that's just me personally. If not, though, I definitely understand it. All right, now let's get into this top 10. Number 10, we have St. Brown, my boy St. Brown out of USC. St. Brown is just good. He's just really good at football. I mean, it's just that simple. St. Brown has great hands. He has a great job of just kind of plucking it out of the air, which I love. He can be very involved underneath constantly, and then you can take shots to him. St. Brown is very good, well-rounded receiver, very well-rounded. But to me, I think I could slide him into the top 10. And number 9, we have Tylan Wallace. I do have Wallace above St. Brown right now. Tylan Wallace is, some people say he's going to be limited to slot the next level. Maybe he will. He still has good height, 5'11", 193. But Tylan Wallace, his route running is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to watch because he can get separation like that. And then when you throw it up to him, his body control, his ability to adjust to a football in the air, make some of those grabs is just outstanding. I mean, it really is. Tylan Wallace to me is the top 10 receiver right now. I love some Tylan Wallace. I really do. The question is height going to scare them off? Because if they want height, then you may steer away from Tylan Wallace. But I think he can just play. At number 8, we have Rondale Moore out of Purdue. I've had him up at number 4 at one point. The thing is, let's just slide up. Let's just show you guys the last 10. No reason to hide it. You guys know who they're going to be. Thing is, Rondale Moore, it's the injuries. But if you watch him back in 2018, I was watching an interview with him, and he was just like, man, I felt like the best player on the field, just playing based off of confidence. His stop and start, when he's healthy, is second to none. It really is. You get him the ball in space, he is such a threat, but he is short. He's very on the short side, but he plays with the extreme physical side of his game that allows him to play at that size. He's definitely going to be at the slot the next level, but if you want just a playmaker, get in his hands, let him make plays with the ball, a yak guy, not many better options than Rondale Moore if he's healthy. Elijah Moore's next out of Ole Miss. Some similar things going on here. Similar. I don't think he's as dynamic with the ball in his hands, but he's really good at it. There's really not a lot of knocks in Elijah Moore's game. I mean, there really isn't. He can take the top off. He's great from the slot. He's very competitive. An actor all over the field. He doesn't drop the passes that often, plays through contested situations. There's not a lot of things to not love about Elijah Moore's game, aside from maybe his height. Number 6, we have Terrace Marshall Jr. For me, Terrace Marshall is going to be someone the Lions have high on their board because of, again, the slide and outside ability. Think he needs to get stronger. He does have way too many concentration drops for my liking. I don't know. It just doesn't seem as explosive as maybe you'd think. But physically, he's so gifted. He's fast. He's tall. He can play inside, play outside. That's the type of receiver that I think the Lions would love to have on their team as just another weapon for Jared Goff. Does need to clean up those concentration drops, though, big time. Don't love him as a blocker either, but I think, just the gifts there the Lions are going to love, so that's why he's so high on my board. But I would have no problem taking Moore or both Moores over Terrace Marshall. Number 5, we have Kadarius Toney. I'm a big Kadarius Toney guy. I think he's going to be awesome at the next level. Senior Bowl, he did have a few drops, but he didn't drop much during the season. The only thing for him is going out and kind of snagging it because he doesn't have a very long arm length. So him snagging, very off-thrown passes can be an issue, especially through contact. But with Kadarius Toney, he is one of the most fun players to watch when the football is in his hands. He is electric. That's why they call him the joystick. After the catch, he's outstanding. He can, take the top off. He's got pretty good height. I think he can play inside-outside based on matchups. Really like Kadarius Toney, and the Lions have met with him. Number 4, we have Rashad Bateman. I think if you get Bateman, you don't say, dang, I missed out on the top 3. You say, yes, we have Rashad Bateman. Bateman is fantastic. Fantastic everywhere over the field. Intermediate, short, long. He can get separation, make some incredible grabs. He's done it in terrible weather as well at Minnesota. Rashad Bateman is something else. And then, of course, the top 3, Waddle, Smith, and Chase. I didn't know how to order these still. I still struggle with this. Here's the thing. Like I said in my video, I think all of them have a case to say we're the best receiver. I went with Chase 1 because I think he's the most safe to translate. I think he's going to translate with no issues in the NFL because of his physicality, his point of attack, all of that. Devontae Smith to me is a technician. He's just, so crisp with everything that he does, but the size is the concern. And then Jalen Waddle, it's the injuries for me. Really, the injuries are the only thing that scares me because he hasn't had, as much experience because of the time he's missed. When he's on the field, though, and he's healthy, there's no one more explosive in this class all around than he is. And he's showing that he can make plays in contested situations. You could easily say Jalen's number 1 when healthy. I just haven't seen him since the injury because, no pro day. You could say Jamar's number 1, perfectly fine there. Or you could even say Devontae's number 1. I probably wouldn't, but you could because there's a reason he was so productive. He was so technically sound with everything he did. You had to earn that kind of production. This was a tough list to make. If you guys disagree with anything, I get it. It was very difficult to make this list. I mean, honestly, I can change these all the time. So this is subject to change, but check out DoseOfDion.com, and if I update and move things around, you'll see it over there. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.